Have you ever wondered why, no matter what you achieve, no matter how much money you make, no matter how much love you receive, there's always this lingering feeling that something is missing? It's like chasing a horizon. You run and run, but it never gets closer. Why do we always want more? Why do we reach a goal, celebrate for a moment, and then feel empty again? Is it human nature, or is there something deeper? In this video, we're diving into a hidden psychological phenomenon, one that controls almost every decision you make, every desire you chase, and every moment of dissatisfaction you feel. This isn't just philosophy, it's science. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why you never feel satisfied, and more importantly, how to break free from this endless cycle. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you achieve, how much you acquire, or how much you experience, there's always this lingering feeling that it's not enough, that as soon as you reach a goal, another one appears? This isn't just a modern problem. It's a deep-rooted survival mechanism coded into your biology. To understand why we constantly crave more, we have to look at evolution. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors lived in an unpredictable and dangerous world. Their survival depended on constantly striving for more food, more security, more power. A sense of satisfaction would have been a death sentence. If early humans felt content after one successful hunt, they wouldn't have bothered hunting again, leaving themselves vulnerable to starvation. So, nature designed a brilliant but cruel system to keep us moving forward. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that's a misleading name. It's not responsible for pleasure itself. It's responsible for desire. Every time you anticipate a reward, dopamine spikes. When you chase something, a promotion, a new gadget, a romantic partner, dopamine floods your brain, making you feel energized and motivated. But here's the biological trap. Once you actually get the reward, dopamine plummets. The excitement fades, and suddenly, that thing you once desired so badly now feels ordinary. This is why the thrill of a new car, a new job, or a new relationship never lasts. Your brain immediately starts looking for the next thing to chase. This is known as dopamine adaptation, the process where your brain normalizes whatever you achieve and demands more. Think about the first time you got something you really wanted. Maybe it was your first phone, your dream shoes, or a big achievement in school. The excitement was overwhelming, but within weeks, or even days, it became just another thing in your life. Your brain moved the goalpost forward, leaving you feeling just as incomplete as before. This is why millionaires still want more money. Why the most successful people often feel the most empty. Because the biological system that kept our ancestors alive is now keeping us in a constant state of dissatisfaction. Worse still, modern society has hijacked this system. We're bombarded with artificially engineered dopamine triggers, social media, fast food, viral content, things designed to spike our desire but never truly satisfy us. The question is, can we escape this trap? That's what we'll explore in the next section. The Hedonic Treadmill, why no achievement ever feels like enough. Imagine running on a treadmill. No matter how fast you go, you stay in the same place. You feel like you're making progress, but in reality, the ground beneath you is moving just as quickly, keeping you trapped in the same spot. This is not just a metaphor, it's the hedonic treadmill, a psychological concept that explains why, no matter what we achieve, we always return to our baseline level of happiness. At first glance, this might seem discouraging. After all, isn't success supposed to make us happy? Isn't reaching our dreams supposed to bring fulfillment? Yet, history and science both reveal an uncomfortable truth. Happiness is a moving target. The term hedonic adaptation was first studied by psychologists Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell. In their research, they discovered a strange pattern whether people experienced extremely positive events like winning the lottery or negative ones like becoming paraplegic. Their happiness levels eventually returned to their personal baseline. This means that no matter how much your life improves, your brain adjusts and you return to feeling just as you did before. This is why billionaires still chase more money. Why celebrities, despite fame and fortune, often struggle with depression. Why some of the most accomplished people in history have still felt empty. Their success didn't fail them. Their brain recalibrated, making their achievements feel ordinary. This cycle plays out in every aspect of life. One, career and success. A person who earns $50,000 a year dreams of making 6 figures. But when they reach that milestone, they want $500,000. Then $1 million. The satisfaction never lasts. 2, relationships and love. Many believe finding the right person will complete them, and at first, love feels euphoric. But over time, familiarity sets in. The excitement fades, and they begin craving something new, leading to dissatisfaction, breakups or affairs. 3, material possessions. Buying a luxury car or the latest iPhone feels great for a while. But soon, the thrill wears off. A newer model comes out. The desire starts again. For fame and recognition, many dream of being famous, believing it will bring lasting happiness. But once achieved, the attention becomes exhausting. Celebrities hide from the public, longing for privacy. The treadmill never stops. You don't need science to prove this. History is filled with people who had it all yet still felt unfulfilled. Alexander the Great conquered the known world but wept because there were no more worlds to conquer. Emperor Qin Shi Huang built the Great Wall and unified China, yet spent his final years obsessed with finding an elixir of immortality, terrified of death. John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest men in history, was once asked how much money was enough. His answer? A little more. No matter how much humans achieve, we always want more. Why our brain resets our happiness level? The reason we never feel satisfied lies in our evolutionary wiring. In ancient times, survival depended on never being complacent. If early humans ever felt truly content, they would stop striving, making them vulnerable to predators, starvation, or enemies. So, nature gave us dopamine adaptation. Every time we achieve something, our brain quickly normalizes it and pushes us to chase something else. It's a biological survival mechanism. But in the modern world, it keeps us trapped in an endless cycle of wanting, achieving, isaboo. So, are we doomed to this cycle forever? Not necessarily. The first step to escaping the treadmill is understanding that it exists. Once you realize that external success will never bring permanent happiness, you can stop running in circles and shift your focus indoors. There are 3 proven ways to slow down the treadmill and find deeper satisfaction. Gratitude practice. Studies show that actively practicing gratitude tricks your brain into breaking the adaptation cycle. Instead of chasing what you already have, hedonic reset, intentionally depriving yourself of certain pleasures, like taking breaks from social media, fasting from junk food, or going minimalist, resensitizes your brain, making simple joys feel exciting again. Internal fulfillment versus external achievement. Instead of linking happiness to success, link it to process and growth. People who find joy in the journey, rather than the destination, experience lasting well-being. However, escaping the hedonic treadmill is harder than ever in the modern world. Because now, a new trap has emerged. One that preys on our dopamine addiction more than ever before. In the next chapter, we'll explore how social media and comparison have turned the hedonic treadmill into an inescapable maze, and what we can do about it. If you were born 500 years ago, you would have only been able to compare yourself to your immediate surroundings, your village, your family, maybe a few travelers passing through. You would have never known what kings, warriors, or merchants in distant lands were doing. Nor would you have been constantly reminded of how inferior your life was compared to theirs. Fast forward to today, and within seconds, you can open an app and see someone younger than you driving a Lamborghini, someone in better shape than you, someone traveling the world while you're stuck at home. No matter what you achieve, there is always someone doing better. This is the modern trap, a psychological war against our own happiness. The combination of social media, constant comparison, and dopamine addiction has created a cycle where satisfaction is almost impossible. The rise of social media has made one thing clear: you're always behind. Think about it. Before Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, you only compared yourself to people you actually knew. Now you're competing against the entire world. A student struggling in college opens Instagram and sees a 19-year-old millionaire entrepreneur. A guy who just started going to the gym sees an influencer with a perfect physique. A woman in a happy but simple relationship sees someone else's extravagant wedding proposal and suddenly feels her love life is not enough. The reality? What you see on social media is not real life. It's a highlight reel, carefully edited to show only the best moments. Yet our brain doesn't understand the difference. It believes what it sees, making us feel like we're failing. This comparison is endless. There will always be someone richer, more attractive, more successful, more loved, or more admired. And as long as we keep scrolling, we keep feeding our own dissatisfaction. Social media companies don't just benefit from our misery. They engineer it. They use dopamine-driven design to keep us addicted. Every like, comment, and notification gives us a tiny hit of pleasure, just like a drug. But the more we use it, the more we need to feel the same high. This is why social media makes people anxious and depressed, because it creates a cycle of anticipation. You post something, hoping for likes and comments. Reward. You get some engagement. Your brain releases dopamine. Crash. The likes slow down. You feel empty again. Repeat. You post again, trying to chase that same high. The result? You're constantly seeking validation from others, and without it, you feel unimportant. In the past, success was measured by things like wisdom, skill, and contribution to the community. Now it's measured by followers, likes, views, wealth, and status. This shift has made people obsessed with external validation. Instead of building real skills, people want clout. Instead of deep relationships, they want attention. Many influencers who look happy and successful online are actually miserable behind the scenes. Burnt out, lonely, and trapped in a cycle of needing to keep up appearances. So if even the people who have it all are still struggling, what does that tell us? That social media is not a path to happiness, it's a trap. Let's say you're at home on a Friday night scrolling through your phone. You see a group of friends laughing at a party, a couple on a luxurious vacation, someone flexing their six-pack abs in the gym. You start thinking, everyone is having fun except me? My relationship isn't as romantic. I should look better, but what you don't see is the people at the party who feel out of place, the couple arguing behind the scenes, the gym influencer dealing with self-doubt. You see only the highlights, not the reality. And that creates an illusion that your life is worse than it actually is. Because of social media, people now live for the camera instead of living for themselves. People travel just to take pictures, not to enjoy the experience. People fake luxury lifestyles, renting cars and designer clothes just for show. People record every moment instead of vivre le jour. It's no longer about what makes you happy, it's about what looks good online. And this mindset is dangerous, because the more you chase likes and attention, the more you lose touch with your real self. Studies show that the more time you spend on social media, the more unhappy you become. Depression and anxiety. People who compare their lives online are more likely to feel worthless. Low self-esteem. Seeing perfect lives every day makes people feel inadequate. Addiction, isolation. Instead of living in the real world, people are glued to their screen. And the worst part? Even knowing this, people still can't stop. Why? Because we've been conditioned to believe that happiness is found in external validation. But the truth is, it's not. To escape this trap, we must redefine what success and happiness mean. Instead of asking, how many followers do I have? Do people admire my lifestyle? Am I keeping up with others? Ask, am I growing as a person? Am I at peace with myself? Am I doing things I actually love? Or just doing them for show? Because at the end of the day, external validation is temporary. The only real lasting happiness comes from self-respect, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. What's next? The final key to true freedom, even if we understand the hedonic treadmill and the social media trap, it's still hard to escape. Our brain has been conditioned for dopamine addiction, comparison, and external validation. But what if there was a way to break free? In the next chapter, we'll discuss how to escape the cycle, a practical guide to rewiring your mindset, freeing yourself from toxic comparison, and finding real happiness that lasts. We live in a world designed to keep us chasing happiness, chasing validation, chasing a future that always seems just out of reach. The more we run, the further it feels. But what if the real problem isn't that we haven't reached happiness, but that we've been looking for it in the wrong places? The cycle of dissatisfaction, The hedonic treadmill and the social media trap is not some natural law of the universe. It's a system we've been conditioned into, and like any system, it can be broken. But escaping it requires something that most people aren't willing to do. Changing how we think, what we value, and how we live. This is not about temporary relief. It's about something deeper, reprogramming your mind to find happiness and fulfillment that last. Step 1. Redefining success on your own terms. Everything in life depends on what you measure. If you measure success by wealth, you will always feel poor. If you measure it by status, you will always feel insignificant. If you measure it by external validation, you will always feel unseen. The first step to escaping the cycle is to take control of what success means to you. Think about it. Why do you want more money, more recognition, more admiration? If you keep asking yourself why long enough, it all leads back to one thing. You believe it will make you happy. But history, psychology, and personal experience prove that it never works for long. Instead of chasing what the world tells you to chase, start asking, what actually makes me feel fulfilled? What kind of life do I want to build, regardless of what anyone else? What will still matter to me in 10 years? If you define success in a way that is internal, no one can take it from you. Step 2. Breaking free from social media's grip. Social media is a weapon. It can be used for good, but for most people, it's an addiction. An endless loop of seeking validation, comparing yourself and feeling inadequate. You don't have to delete everything and live in the mountains, but you must take control of how social media influences you. Here's how. Reduce mindless scrolling. Set strict limits. Every extra hour you spend scrolling is an hour you're training your brain to be dissatisfied. Curate your feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel like you're not enough. Replace them with things that actually inspire. Post for yourself, not for attention. The moment you start living for likes, you've lost control. Share what you genuinely care about, not what you think will get engagement. Take regular detoxes. Even a few days without social media can reset your brain and remind you what life feels like. Without constant comparison, if you don't control how you consume social media, it will control you. Step 3. Training your mind to find real satisfaction. Your brain is wired for novelty. It always wants the next thing, the next achievement, the next thrill. But true happiness isn't found in external rewards, it's found in learning how to enjoy the present. Here's the truth. Happiness is not something you reach, it's something you practice. Gratitude training. Every day, write down 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. Over time, this rewires your brain to focus on what you have rather than what you lack. Mindfulness and present. The more time you spend in the past, regret, or the future worry, the less happiness you feel. Learn to be fully present in each moment. Meditation, deep breathing, or even just focusing on your senses can help. Finding flow. The happiest people are not those who chase pleasure, but those who get lost in meaningful work. Find activities that challenge you, engage you, and bring a sense of mastery. Satisfaction isn't about reaching a final goal. It's about enjoying the process itself. Step 4. Building a life that doesn't need validation. Most people don't actually want happiness. They want to be seen as successful, intelligent, attractive, powerful. They chase external validation because they believe it will finally make them feel worthy. But the irony is that the more you chase validation, the less free you are. To truly escape the cycle, you must reach a point where you can say, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't need approval to feel good about myself. I am content with who I am, regardless of whether anyone notices. This is not something that happens overnight. But every time you choose to live for yourself instead of for others, you take back control of your life. Step 5. Understanding that you will never fully escape, and that's okay. The harsh truth: you will never completely escape the cycle. No matter how much you grow, there will always be moments of doubt, comparison, and dissatisfaction. Your brain will always try to pull you back into old habits. But the difference is that now, you'll recognize it when it happens. Instead of blindly chasing the next high, you'll step back and realize, this is just my brain playing the same game again. You won't be a prisoner to the cycle anymore. You'll be aware of it. And that awareness alone gives you power. Every time you choose presence over distraction, gratitude over comparison, and internal peace over external validation, you win. Not in a way that others can see. Not in a way that will get you likes or applause, but in a way that actually matters. And that is real freedom. So, after everything, after breaking the cycle of chasing, after stepping away from comparison, after redefining success, what's left? What is the secret to true fulfillment? It's not some hidden formula. It's not something that only a few lucky people. It's something that's been in front of you this entire time, but the world has trained you to overlook it. The secret is this: fulfillment isn't something you find, it's something you create. For years, you've been taught that happiness is a destination. A place you'll reach once you have enough money, enough success, enough validation. But that's a lie. True fulfillment is not about all. It's about how you live. 1. Presence over pursuit. Most people spend their entire lives running, chasing the next goal, the next upgrade, the next level. But in that endless pursuit, they miss the only thing that's real, this moment. Fulfillment comes when you learn to fully experience life as it happens. When you stop treating happiness like a reward and start treating it like a choice. Right now, in this very second, you have everything you need to feel at peace. Not tomorrow. Not when you make it, right now. 2. Depth over distraction. We live in a world of noise. A world designed to keep you busy but empty. Scrolling, consuming, chasing, always moving but never arriving. But real fulfillment isn't found in more. It's found in depth. In meaningful work. In deep conversations. In moments of stillness. In the things that bring you alive. Not just the things that pass the time. The more you simplify, the richer life becomes. 3. Internal validation over external approval. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and no one is watching. No one is judging. No one is measuring your success. Would you still do what you're doing? If the answer is no, then you've been living for others, not for yourself. True fulfillment comes when you stop needing the world to validate you. When you reach a point where you don't need recognition, applause, or admiration, because you are already enough. Final thought. The life you want is already here. The world will keep telling you the happiness is just one step away. That you're missing something. That you need more, but you don't. Everything you've been searching for is already within you. All you have to do is stop running long enough to see it.